smoke chunk beef. Ranchero wheatberry. It's called wheatberry. Ranchero wheatberry. Ranchero wheatberry. This one is known as broccoli crunch salad.
And to complete transaction. Please take your...
And every day I walk by this, which is made by a guy named Wade, and I kind of remember the baby boomer generation. I guess you call it the baby boomer. It's called Bob Daddy-O Wade is his name. It's called Cotton Candy. I'm kind of writing a little bit about that generation because the ghostly god. I always do that though. It's weird. The ghostly father figure in Escape from Maine is from the boomer generation. It's known as the ghostly father figure. I was wanting to cast Alec Baldwin in it, but I know he's busy, but maybe eventually, or at least the voice of Alec Baldwin, because he's a ghost in it. One of the characters is a smaller character. Jonah's father is from the Vietnam era. So he's called the ghostly father figure. So he's a ghost in it, meaning he's dead. But he comes back as a ghost to visit Jonah. You don't really get that until you watch the movie. There's a flashback scene where he's in Haltom, Texas, in a garden with his dad, like a front yard, and they're talking about the suicide of the father's older brother, who decided to kill himself rather than go to Vietnam. They talk about how suicide is actually part of a sickness. It's not that particular character went to hell. That the sickness is what killed him, because he had to deal with the Catholics, how they say, you know, if you kill yourself, you go to hell. Well, he felt the sickness. He felt the sickness killed him. He felt that the sickness killed him, and so I think what it is ultimately, it's learning to speak with something under the chin, which is this thing right here. It's under my chin, so I don't open the mouth as much, but he felt that the sickness killed him, not the suicide. And they talk about that in the garden, Escape from Maine. It's part of the story. It's an important part in the story. And that's whenever you see the father alive. And Alec would be in that scene. That's why I wanted to use him. He's an important actor. I hope Rust goes okay. Now we're gonna have the salad. Boy, they're Bose speakers. May or may not get over the wind. I don't know the song. But this is the Whole Foods right here. Yeah, Payway's behind me. But this is a Whole Foods stuff, and you can see it right here. And I'll show it to you. It's a Whole Foods salad. Right here. My Whole Foods salad. All right, so first we gotta open it. There we go, we opened it this time. And we've got purple onion. This thing right here is broccoli. There's something called the goddess salad. We'll look at that next time. These are the wheat berry. So it's wheat berry. It looks kind of like, to me, it looks a little like quinoa. It's right here, wheat berry. It's whole wheat berry. Then they've got olives and spinach. There's some broccoli. There's a boiled egg. There's potato wedge, some grapes, raspberries. There's chunks of chicken and ham. Chicken, ham, more grapes there. This is part of like a medley, some type of medley part of the broccoli. And I'm thinking, okay, this is called a dolmus. A dolmus. Usually a grape leaf. So usually they do this with a grape leaf. Right here, if I can get this one off, it's got to be like specific. It's hard. It's kind of like if you were doing a cooking show, you don't want the carrot in there. Let's see if I can get that off. There we go. This is the dolmus right here. And I'm gonna try eating this first. And I'm gonna look at what Whole Foods does with this. It's got a little bit of carrot on it. The carrot stuck on there. Try to knock that off anyway. All right, so this is the dolmus with a little piece of carrot on it. Now it's just dolmus only. And it's usually wrapped in a grape leaf. I was told it's Egyptian, but if you know better, then let me know. Maybe Greek. That's what the inside of it looks like. And Diane Salinger loves these. I used to get them for all the time when I'd go to Whole Foods. She would give me her grocery list. I'd go shopping for Whole Foods right there in Hollywood. And I'd get her these right here. She'd get a little package of these. She also liked eating rotisserie chicken. Back in the day. These are really good. All right, we're gonna be dropping food at your doors. Oh, I forgot one more thing. These are peppers, orange peppers. And then down in here, I got some, it's almost like barbecue beef. A little bit of barbecue beef. But I don't know what they called it. They called it beef something. Next time I'll try to film it. You can go through and see it. It's some type of beef. Also, when I was in Hollywood, I also worked as an extra, or they called them back then, a background artist on the X-Files, 20th Century Fox studio. They taped a gun to my back, duct taped it, and put me through this, like, it was supposed to be like a thermal screen. At the time, it was just a platform that we walked on. And the guy did it with a digital camera. He also liked to play hockey, the photographer, because he was talking about playing hockey the entire time he was taking the photos. At the time when we did that, it was only the redheaded lady, Scully, and David Duchovny was doing film. So he had taken some time off of X-Files. And Robert Patrick was playing Doggett. So I was supposed to be Doggett. I was Doggett's body double for that scene. And in the episode, it's called 3 Words. It's episode 8, it's season 8. Season 8, episode 16. 3 words, futile. No, resistance is futile. Sorry, I get everything backwards. Resistance is futile. So it's it's season 8, episode 16, called 3 Words. It was the X-Files episode. I was a body double for Robert Patrick because David Duchovny wanted to go off and be a big movie star at the time. Now, I did that, and I did it backstage. There was a guy that worked with Uta Hagen that was there too, who's playing the guy that jumps the fence in that. There's a guy that jumps the White House fence and runs up there to tell them that resistance is futile or something, and they tackle him. This Secret Service tackle him. That guy was playing a patriot. I was playing a patriot too, and we were like a group of patriots that were abducted by the aliens, and they took photos of us, and that was in it. And then also they took photos of me doing the thermal thing, so I could be Robert Patrick's body double, which I thought was cool. It's kind of his body double in a way, yeah. I was his thermal image on my screenplay. I'm sorry, on my resume. On my resume, well, I might write a screenplay about some of that. But on my resume, it says Doggett's thermal image. Because it was a thermal image that I was playing. Okay, now, the other thing that I did was I got on set with Dustin Hoffman. That's a big year. Dustin Hoffman and Jake Gyllenhaal in a movie called Moonlight Mile. I was on set on that, but at the time they called it Babies in Black. Don't ask me why. They had a secret name for it. They're secretive about their movies. Moonlight Mile is a long story about a guy gets stuck in a town and running around, love story kind of thing. And Dustin Hoffman plays a father figure in it kind of thing. The scene where they turn on the car and it's blasting out the music, and there's comedy in it, you know. That was Dustin Hoffman thing. Dustin was very Hoffman. Dustin was very chill to work with. He just seemed like a normal person. But he did get a little excited when he saw Jake. He went up to Jake and he grabbed him and said, my boy, and he gave him a little kiss on the side. a little kiss on his cheek. And then Jake Gyllenhaal would later become one of the big freaking stars. At the time, he was nobody. On Moonlight Mile, nobody knew who he was. I didn't know who Jake Gyllenhaal was when I was on set. And at the time, I thought he was Tobey Maguire. And so did a lot of other people. They're like, Tobey Maguire lost a lot of weight. It was Jake Gyllenhaal. They look a little alike. And Jake was skinny. He was real skinny. He said, he told Dustin Hoffman, he said, don't I look good in this suit? And Dustin Hoffman goes, my boy, and kisses him on the side of the cheek. He's just kind of joking around. They were joking around with it. They do it to kind of loosen up and joke around. But their scene was really good. I was watching it the entire time. I watched it so much that it was my time to cross. I crossed behind the camera. And they had to stop it. It was my fault. They looked right at me and it's like, no, you got to walk before the camera. Why would you walk behind the camera? I was like, I don't care. I'm just watching them. I'm watching them act. They're like, yeah, we know you are, Cole. We know you are. Got through that. And those are the three big ones. Really, to be honest, it's quite the accomplishment. And, of course, I'm right here in the shops at ClearFork. I'll show it to you in a minute. And, of course, I met Drake Dormus, who's a pretty big deal. He directed Anton Yelchin. Where are we going? Oh, we're going to Luna. I'm just going to walk over here, walk some of my salad off. Yeah, I met Drake in Orange County, Santa Ana. His mother had a theater, Diapatro Theater. I hate Waze. Rah! Okay, I'm trying to get this off right here. It interrupts. It's so rude. There we go. So I met Drake Dormus at the Diapatro Theater, or however you pronounce it, where they hosted the Orange County Crazies. It was a community theater out in Santa Ana. And he had written a play called House Divided. I played Donovan. And I got to meet a guy named Eric Soderbergh, who is pretty big in Hollywood. He does a lot of commercials and has done some film. At the time, we were nobody. I was getting ready to go to the actor studio. Drake was going to try to get into AFI. He was 17 and he got in. I think that's true. Maybe he was 18 when he got in. But he did a little film. He did a little student film I helped him on. They paid me $20 and he gave me a lamp. Well, he gave me a lamp for the play, but he gave me $20 for gas for showing up to do a little student film called Bum, which is about a homeless guy. They take off the street and try to get him started in life. They try to get him to work like in a pizza place. I'm inside of a parking garage, and they try to get him going. You know, he's all sunburned. Not Drake, but this is another guy. Oh, they're all the way from Maryland. Anyway, that car over there from Maryland. Anyway, I helped him with that, and then my next step was to go off to the Actor Studio Drama School. And Drake got in. Drake got into AFI. He was one of the youngest filmmakers to ever get into AFI. And he ended up working with, later on, Guy Pearce in a film called Breathe In. And he also worked in a lot of different films, in a film called Newness. Don't know all the actors in that one, but I saw it. It's pretty heavy. And then I think one of, I'm just kind of going up this way. I'll go over this way real quick. One of the movies he did was Like Crazy. A lot of people might like that movie. I'm gonna go over here, kind of private about when I'm talking about Drake. A lot of people like that movie, but Anton, oh, there's a dove over here. Yep, there's a dove right over that way. It's gonna go flying right here. There it goes. Wait, hang on. There's a dove. Let's see if we can get it right here. Or it's quail. It's a quail. Can you see it? Anyway. Anton Yelchin? I can't even pronounce his name. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go on the Internet Movie Database and I'm gonna look at it and try to pronounce it correctly. He's a Russian descent actor, so his ancestry is from Russia. And that was Anton. He also played Chekhov in a Star Wars. No, I'm sorry, Star Trek. So sorry. Anton Yelchin played in Star Trek. Not Star Wars. It was Star Trek. I'm sorry, Star Trek. I say Star Trek. I'll say Star Trek, but it's Star Trek. Star Trek. Isn't that weird? Star Trek. We're going to watch Star Trek. I always called it Star Trek. A lot of people call it Star Trek. It's Star Trek. Anyway, Anton was in Star Trek. He played Dr. Chekhov. But he also worked with Drake in Like Crazy, which was released in like all the theaters nationwide, I think. It was a big release. He made like $1 million off of it or something. I don't know. It was a big deal. And then Jennifer Lawrence was in it. Jennifer Lawrence is in it. Anton Yelchin is in it. It's like a love story. And a British actress, Felicity, I was going to say Huffman. Felicity Jones. Felicity. She has a name like Felicity. I want to say Felicity Huffman or something. Or is it Felicity Jones? She's been in like a lot of Shakespeare stuff and all kinds of stuff. Felicity, she's a British actor. I'll get all the names right. Got it. Anton Yelchin. Great actor. He's also in that thing called Green Room, I think. He has done like so much stuff, but he passed away. He died. Now, her name was Felicity Jones. That was Like Crazy. And Jennifer Lawrence was in it too when she was kind of an up-and-coming star. I think this was before Silver Lining Playbook where she won an Oscar. So anyway, Drake directed that, Drake Doremus. But later on in life, Anton was either picking up something from his house and had run in and grabbed something. I don't know all the details. I don't know any. Grim Life Collective covered it. But he ran in, he grabbed something from his home, and he ran back to where his Jeep Cherokee was. It's like a truck. Either he ran up behind it, I think maybe he opened the door and then put whatever he needed in and closed it. It released the brake. Or if it was a standard rather than an automatic, it might have been a clutch issue. Anyway, the car released and backed over him and pinned him against a fence, killing him nearly instantly. That's how quick it can happen in life. He was alive one moment, getting something out of his home, and the next minute, he was dead. And we don't know how it happened. The Jeep Cherokee, it must have had some kind of issue. Or he had the vehicle in, which was, I don't know, like a standard. Is that standard? A manual? We call it a manual. Manual, a standard. A stick shift. Got it. He had a stick shift. And the clutch was in. And he pulled this up. Don't do that. Because when he slammed the trunk, did that. slammed it too hard because it's emotional, and it released it probably. When it releases like that, it backed over him. It was probably a stick shift or the clutch. He thought it was in the clutch thing. Millions of different reasons. I don't know if they analyzed it and said this is the exact reason. Grimlife didn't nail it completely. I think it needs to be investigated. But the Jeep Cherokee was involved. It was supposed to be some kind of recall device, something that didn't go right. It malfunctioned and killed him. And that's how quick things are. I got to pick up this Luna grill. This is a Shops. I think Luna Grill is like right there. That's where we're picking up to drop at your doorstep. I need to get the mileage too. There is a God. We know that. And the scientists will say, well, no, coincidence and things like that. But anyway, if you go to Hollywood Forever Cemetery, he's there as statue form. I've got a theory about statues. I've written about statues myself. As in the human form statue. But I wrote about it when I was in Central Park. Not when I was in Central Park, but when I was living in New York City. I thought about it in Central Park. Then I went back to my dorm room, or whatever you want to call it, the little apartment, little flat, and I wrote about it called Green Eyes. But it was about someone that turned into a statue. Kind of like a Twilight Zone episode kind of thing. There is a weird thing that I have about statues, about live statues. They creep me out, but they made a statue of him, and it's there in Hollywood Forever. Anton Yelchin, yeah. Very expensive thing. Put it this way. I've seen this before. It's a non-copyright song. Alfa Romero, maybe? Alfa Romero. It's a nice little guy right there. Little yellow bug there. Or Alfa Romero. I've got like 60 pounds at least. I don't know how I'm gonna do it though. We're gonna start with salads, move on from there. This is Luna Grill right here. For your doorstep. So I had to get the amount